to Educating Geeks, the podcast where friends help friends discover new passions. I'm geek host Megan, and in the studio today we have...
Andrea.
Bri.
Gina.
Today, Gina and I will be educating Bri and Andrea on the 2008-2009 comic book run of Wolverine, Old Man Logan, which was written by Mark Millar, who many of us probably know from Wanted, which is how I know Mark Millar. Before we dive into the discussion, I thought that I would just read the synopsis that's in the front of all of the issues. Did you guys read those? Like that little... I always read the little recap of what's been going on in my comic books. I don't know why, but...
I completely skipped those. I wasn't even thinking about it.
Yeah,
I'm that person that's like, I literally just put down the issue before, but I'm going to read this. But I thought it was really well written. Really well written. So, the synopsis for Old Man Logan. It's been 50 years since the heroes fell. 50 years since supervillains carved up America amongst themselves, creating a lawless empire. No one quite knows what happened on that day, the day evil won, leaving only memories of the age of heroes. One man doesn't want to remember. Logan, once known as the feral mutant Wolverine, hasn't popped his claws since that final battle, and no one knows why. Taking root in Sacramento, Logan is content with raising a family, but there's no such thing as the simple life anymore. Logan's peaceful world is threatened by the Hulk gang, the descendants of Bruce Banner, and they want their rent money. Money the poor mutant farmer doesn't have. Clint Barton, the now blind former Avenger called Hawkeye, calls on his old friend. Clint is crossing the country bound for New Babylon with precious cargo, and he needs a guide. But Barton doesn't want Logan to help him on this journey. He wants Wolverine. Logan can't afford to turn down the offer, but can he afford to face his past?
Dun dun dun.
Mine doesn't have that.
It doesn't?
Yeah,
No, where?
It's at the very beginning of that one.
It's at the beginning of each trade, of each
No, it
issue
doesn't.
that I have.
I don't think
Mine's just
either.
broken up into chapters.
Is it really?
Oh, look at the very back cover.
It's not on the very back.
Oh.
What? No, this...
Yeah.
Do you have a different
I
synopsis
think
on the
it's
back?
different.
one?
It's different.
So Bri
weird.
and Gina are both reading trades, and I have the individual issues because I read them as they were coming out. So I have all 8 issues in individual versions, and you guys both have trades. And then they're missing from the trades. It's kind of sad.
Yeah. that's
I always
unfortunate.
like reading those. It makes me a big nerd, I'm sure. But
Well, when I was reading through Fables, I would always be like, what happened in the last issue that I just read?
that I just read. Yeah, I did the same thing with Fables, too. We'll have to do Fables at some point.
Yeah.
I have a whole bunch of them. So that was my history. I've already gone through my history. Gina, tell us about your history with Old Man Logan.
Well, I can't remember if I read it when it first came out. I know I picked it up at the library at one point and read it, so this might be my third time or just my second time.
Okay. And Bri and Andrea. Bri, let's start with you. Why haven't you read Old Man Logan before?
I don't know. I heard about it, but I don't read a lot of superhero comics necessarily. So I just never really ran across it. Like, I've only really read Death of Superman, and unfortunately that's pretty much it for superheroes and me.
We need to get some more superheroes in there then. What about you, Drea?
I can't say I've actually ever read a graphic novel that wasn't Scott Pilgrim. And yes, I admitted that.
I need to read Scott Pilgrim. Let's put that on the list.
too.
Yes.
Yeah, that one I enjoyed. I never picked up a comic book run. It's hard for me. I like to start things and finish them. So like,
So you should just read trades.
yeah. So if I were to watch a TV show, like if someone's like, oh, we're gonna watch Fringe season 1, I'm gonna sit down and watch Fringe season 1 through the end of Fringe. Like, I just can't stop myself. I want to know what happens. So I never got into comic books because I can't do that until the story arc's completed. So I never did. So I was okay with this one because I got to see it beginning to end.
Yeah.
But so it was never something I found myself drawn to.
Cool. Well, before we dive into the story, let's quickly talk about our favorite characters. Bri, who is your favorite character?
Hawkeye.
What about you, Gina?
Spidercar.
I love that answer.
That car steals the show, doesn't it?
Yes.
It's amazing.
Every scene it's in, it steals it.
Is that like Knight Rider? like
it didn't
Knight
talk,
Rider.
but it should have, right? It would. That only would have
It
made
had
it
a
better.
lot of attitude without talking.
It's true. It's very true.
I was sad when they didn't have it anymore.
Yes. It just all of a sudden they got out of it and they were done
Yeah.
with it.
Yeah. As I was reading through it, because I've read through it before, I was like, how did they get back? How does he get back? I don't remember. And we'll talk about that later. But yeah, he gets back in a pretty fantastic way. Drea and I have very similar feelings about our favorite characters.
Well, Wolverine.
Duh.
And I had a favorite story arc that involved a character, but I liked the Ashley story arc.
Isn't
So
that interesting?
Yeah, so I liked her character for that sake, but then at the same time I also did not like her character. So I guess Wolverine.
What did you... Yeah, I mean...
We'll get into that.
The Logan character in the... I love Wolverine. I'm a big Wolverine fangirl, and I've got a violent streak, so this is, like, perfect for both of those things. But, yeah, Ashley is actually a really interesting character. She's one of the more interesting new characters, I thought, in the book. And I thought the way her story arced was really interesting. Why was she... Why? So you liked her, but you didn't like her. What did you not like about her?
Well... I don't know that it's not her. It's like I liked the story arc, but I feel like they dropped it off too soon. And maybe that's just because
That's
of
true.
how short.
And Ashley is Hawkeye's daughter.
Yeah.
Ashley is Hawkeye's daughter
Masquerading as Spider-Woman.
One of the few female characters.
Yeah,
in
one
the
of the few.
She's one of
yeah.
like 3.
And he had her with Peter Parker's daughter.
Right. So she's
Yeah.
Peter Parker's granddaughter.
Yeah.
Yeah. But there's things I liked about her. Like I like that they made her, and that is something else I liked about the whole trade book in general. They made her voluptuous, but she wasn't like skanky.
Yeah.
Like they easily could have just made her like a total slut and
Yeah.
been like good with it and been
Which,
like,
like, power to her, whatever. It's the
Yeah.
apocalypse. Do what you're going to do, girl.
Right, but they didn't. They chose not to, so I appreciated that. I liked that she was a powerful character.
Yeah.
But I think her story arc just kind of ended. Like, it was done.
Yeah.
Like, she sent her minions after them, and then that was it.
I'm
Like,
sure her heart will go on.
her evil, blood-sucking heart will go
It
on.
certainly seems that way, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I liked her her variation on the Spider-Man suit. I thought that was
Yeah.
pretty cool.
It was sporty.
That was awesome.
Yeah,
I
it
did
was. It
like
was real
that.
sporty. Yeah, that's what I liked, and it had like those sleeves cut. Yeah, it was really cool. And then I also like that she's a character of color. Like
Yeah.
she and her mother are like the only 2 people of color in the whole book. And
No, there's a guy that's entirely red.
oh, that's true. Well,
So he's
the red
He's
skull.
a color.
He's Aryan.
What color was he,
His
Mother?
skull may be
Blue.
red. His skull may be
You
red,
didn't
but he's
clarify-
Aryan at
you
heart.
didn't clarify what color.
Red.
I know what you mean, though. Yes, I agree. I appreciate that, too.
So since we've kind of, just to fill people in, so Ashley's storyline was that, so the United States has been carved up by all of the supervillains, and the Hulk family owns like the whole western coast, and then like the middle southwest area was owned by, who was it? It was Bullseye, or not Bullseye?
No. It was Kingpin.
Kingpin, thank you. Kingpin had like the next chunk of the United States, which apparently he took over from Magneto, who he murdered. Don't even get me started. I
Magneto
don't
got
think he could have
old.
killed Magneto.
Well, but I also
Magneto
don't
got
think he's
old.
the original Kingpin.
Oh, that could
No,
be true.
what?
I don't know.
No, I don't think he's the
Oh, no,
original.
yeah,
Like
no.
he's
He
a
can be.
descendant,
He's a
of,
descendant
Kingpin.
of Kingpin.
Okay. I have the map up in
Oh,
front
yeah.
of me. There's like no man's land in the
Yeah,
middle.
that's the area that Emma Frost is like secretly running.
Yeah, that's the one where I talk about the Molinoids.
the Moloids.
Yeah, the Moloids are kind of like rampant through there, so no one really claims
Oh,
it.
that makes sense.
because
yeah.
it's kind of like
Okay.
it's kind of like the Bermuda
I
Triangle.
thought
in the
Emma
United
Frost
States.
was in Doom's Lair.
Is it in Doom's area? Okay.
I think so. Yeah.
All right. I guess that makes sense. I don't remember.
And then nobody wants the whole Detroit area.
Does anybody blame them?
Or then
Nobody wants to
the
Detroit area
president's
now.
quarter is the whole entire
Yeah, the whole
east
western or eastern seaboard. Yeah, yeah. But yeah, so Ashley, they make you think that Ashley is trying to bring back the superheroes, but really she just wants to take over from Kingpin and be a supervillain.
Yeah. So she tricks her father into coming and
basically
saving
rescuing her. Yeah.
Yeah, by killing. I think he kills the guards, and then Kingpin comes in, and Ashley kills Kingpin, and then
Yeah.
tries to kill her dad, and then they're like, "What the fuck?"
And that's a pretty gruesome murder, too, because she has like a shotgun and she takes off his head with the shotgun. She swings it at him, and it's gross.
She's tough.
She is tough. She's a tough cookie.
Badass, yeah.
That's why we like her. Yeah. So shall we talk about our favorite moments? Let's just dive right into the story, shall we?
You like Ashley, but I actually like Emma Frost.
Oh, God,
like
I
she,
see, I hated
she
that
really,
storyline.
she pisses me off.
I hate her.
I've read some superhero comics and I've read some Emma Frost scenes. And usually she pretty much pisses me off, but she's just like, I did what I had to do to keep our people alive.
That's true. This is the most tolerable Emma Frost storyline I've ever read.
Yes.
I hate Emma Frost. I just don't like her.
But in
I
this,
don't like her as a character in this storyline. I'm like, okay, you a marriage of necessity. You kept your people alive. You're obviously helping people.
I guess.
See, and I thought this was the most giveaway part of the storyline. Like, I didn't learn anything other than there's something ominous in the car, which, shocker, I already knew. Like,
And she might be helping the bad guys by helping their car. Who knows? But like,
I just thought it was so throwaway, and she was just there as a pretty face, and like, she didn't contribute anything, and I was like,
But she wasn't real a pretty face.
yeah, she was a fake pretty face.
But we didn't get to see her actual face.
I know.
But she was
I
honest
a little
about it.
disappointed.
she was honest
disappointed
about
too.
it.
She
She's
was.
like, I can make you see whatever I want you to see.
I wanted to see what she really looked like.
Me
Yes.
too.
Yeah.
So bad.
Maybe she looked like a Red Skull.
Apparently, what she likes people to see is blue lipstick
I can't
shiny
blame her. I
eyes.
like blue lipstick.
And shiny,
and shiny white
Mascara.
mascara. Yeah.
Honestly, if it was the apocalypse, I'd probably play it a lot like she does. I'd play it safe and I'd play it with a lot of power.
don't fuck with Bri. if
Bri
the
knows
world
what she
ends.
likes. Don't mess with her.
But
It's
still,
apocalypse.
I respect the decisions. I don't know why it was in the storyline. I don't feel like it contributed anything for me.
I think
There
it was
was
part
a
of the
l-
world building. I think
Yeah.
they really wanted to make you go, hey, there's all this stuff that you don't know what's going on yet.
It
But
all
you
made
could.
me want to know more. There was a lot in here where I was like, that didn't need to be there. But they're saying like shit happened. There's a lot of story we don't know about.
Yeah, to me, it's issues 67 through like 69. There's stuff that happens, but to me, it's more about the world building than the actual story. So, like, those issues are fun to read, but they're not like the core of the Old Man Logan story to me. Yeah.
Who was your favorite character, Gina?
Other than Spidercar,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have to say Hawkeye. I think that might be a little tinged with the fact that I read the trade of Hawkeye. And really good.
Oh, I need to read that.
Hawk guy.
No, hot guy. Jeremy Renner, I'm looking at you.
Did I call him Hawkeye?
No, you called him Hawkeye.
You called
Okay.
him Hawk.
You were
yeah.
correct.
I like to call him Hawk Guy because I think it's hilarious when people mess it up. Well, he's like, no, it's Hawk Eye. Yeah, Hawk Guy.
Yeah, they actually they make a joke of that in the trade.
Oh, do they?
Yes.
Yeah.
Nice.
We'll have to check that out.
Yeah.
Another one for the list.
Who keeps these lists?
The executive producers keep that list. Me and Alice. And let me tell you, it is long. And every time we record an
I'm
episode, it
sure.
gets longer. Let's see. What do we have here on the notes?
So I liked the character of Wolverine, obviously. I mean, he's the main character, so whatever.
Did you like Logan or did you like Wolverine?
You
Hey,
like-
Bub. Hey, Bub, watch it.
You gotta like them both. You gotta like them both for
Oh.
different reasons.
But I think my favorite villain was definitely Red Skull. I liked.
Oh, he was great, wasn't he?
Oh,
I,
he's such
I
a
could
creep.
see it. I could I would believe it. It was so creepy. It was so good. So
Oh,
good.
yeah.
I want to know who he's married to.
Right?
Yeah.
Right?
Who's his wife?
I'm like, I can't believe you said that and not show her.
I know.
Like, what
And he's,
disgusting
wearing his
person.
Captain
He's wearing a
America
Captain
uniform and like Goodbye Horses is playing in the background. And God.
Yeah, it was. But it was so good. He was such a good
He was so
villain. He was
gross.
such a good villain.
He really was.
I loved it.
So who's our least favorite characters?
Emma Frost.
Emma Frost.
Banner.
Oh,
Hawkeye's ex-wife.
yeah. Other than
What was
Emma
her
Frost.
name? I should have remembered her name.
Oh, I'll look it up.
The mechanic.
I also did
Yeah.
not. Oh, the mechanic.
She was a mechanic.
Yeah.
Tanya.
She didn't make any. She was like, you left when she was 3 months old, and blah blah blah, and you made her think all these great things about superheroes. Like she didn't make her think anything.
She was 3 months old.
She was 3 months old. Like what did he do? He had no hand in this.
I also strongly disliked the freaking Hulk hillbillies.
I love the Hulk
hated
hillbillies.
them.
Oh God,
Hated
I
them.
I'm the only person that liked them.
I didn't like the strawberry blonde Hulk child.
The Hulk lady.
She was my least favorite Hulk.
The Hulk Baby Factory.
The one that was breastfeeding in the first 2 scenes of the,
Yes.
graphic novel.
I'm
Okay.
like, why are you doing that?
She was
Like,
just
why did the artist decide to do that?
because she should be able to breastfeed wherever she needs to.
I'm like, let's just have more negative depictions of breastfeeding, please.
That's what I was thinking.
Because people don't have enough issues with that. Thanks. That is my one issue with them. But I thought they were I thought it was an interesting choice to do that.
I didn't like the whole hillbilly thing. Like,
Green neck.
Yeah, it was totally.
Well,
It's
it's
just
very
that-
it was very
It
stereotypical.
was very stereotypical. But they're like super inbred.
Well, but at the same
does-
time, like, not
Are
everyone's
they
a
going to be
hillbilly.
in
It's
Northern California being like, hey, Pa, blah, blah, blah?
I mean, it's a post-apocalyptic world, but at the same time, they didn't stereotype much else.
Yeah, that's
and then
true.
they only stereotype that, so that stereotype is just so strong, and you're like, oh my god, this is so hard to read.
50 years. How many generations could have you had to get that inbred?
They're his
2 or
grandkids.
3.
Yeah, most of them are his grandkids. But I think a lot of them, well, we don't know. We don't know how many generations there have been, but
those ones were specifically said that they were his grandkids.
they were calling him Pappy. Pappy?
Ugh. Don't even. Ugh.
But
Ugh,
Banner didn't
even the
even
voice.
seem smart. Banner's supposed to be smart.
Well, but
He's gone crazy.
he said he's gotten crazy, basically.
He's just
So-
old and senile.
Yeah.
And I get that. I mean, I didn't mind the Banner character, but all of the, Hulk Grant.
There were so many of them.
It was just, and then they were in a trailer park, and, can you just get more stereotypical and just...
Like, where's all this money going?
Right, it's
See,
just...
that's a good question.
Ooh.
It's going to the bar. 'Cause they
Plot
drink
hole.
so much.
Why don't they just steal the shit from the bar?
Right.
Yeah.
Like, if they're all this muscle and they have all this money, then why are they living in a trailer
Just like
park?
he ate Logan, maybe he ate it.
He's just eating the money. Like, I don't even need this.
So-
I don't know.
Someone brought up a really good point before we started recording. Like, why does money even have any value in this post-apocalyptic
Yeah,
world?
there's no value.
You should do trade of
It
some
doesn't
sort.
represent anything.
Yeah.
And I liked how $500 was a lot of money.
$500 is a lot of money. Okay. For some of us.
But I mean, 50 years in the future, $500. 50 years ago,
Like,
$500
A
was
homestead, $500.
Yeah, like your rent being $500. I would take $500 rent.
I think his
Shit,
rent was
dude.
even less than that because he was like, that should take care of you for a little
2
bit.
months, yeah.
That's true. That's right.
Dude, that would be awesome. That would be awesome.
That'd be nice rent. Yeah, I'd pay that. So one of the things that I want to talk about, am I the only person that's seen the movie Unforgiven?
Probably.
Possibly.
It's a Clint Eastwood Western.
yeah.
Seen it.
You
No,
lost me
I've
at Clint
probably
Eastwood.
seen it. I just would
It's
not remember.
Clint Eastwood and Morgan Freeman, and they're like going out to kill people, and it's amazing. It's a gorgeous, fantastic, wonderful Western. I'm a big fan of Westerns, which is one of the reasons why I was really drawn to this in the first place.
What time?
It was like the early 90s, like 93.
I remember hearing about it.
95.
Not a big fan of Western.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
I've
gotta
heard the
change
name,
that.
But
I've seen a lot of westerns
fan.
with my dad. So there's a
I'm sure
perfectly
you've
reasonable-
probably
yeah.
seen it. And there's a lot of this that reminds me of that. Like the very first issue. First of all, I think this first issue is a great introduction to this world that Mark Millar has created. But in Unforgiven, Clint Eastwood is a former outlaw that has become a farmer. And he's raising pigs, just like Logan is in this. And he's got 2 kids. Clint Eastwood doesn't have a wife, so that's like the one difference. But his farm is failing, and he needs money to keep his farm going, so he goes on this mission with Morgan Freeman. So like the the
That
initial
sounds vaguely
sounds
familiar.
very familiar, doesn't it? Yeah.
Sounds
yeah.
like a lot of Western.
Yeah, it all does, right?
But did the kids, when you first saw them, scream "fridged"? We are going to be fridged. Our whole purpose in life
is to become
die.
Yeah.
emotional
I'm like-
motivation for you.
I'm like, oh, Logan has a family. He can't keep that.
Not gonna lie.
Oh,
But yeah, I mean, even there are a couple of panels that I'm like, you have seen this movie, and you drew that panel because you've seen this movie. And at the end too, it's the same. It's just like that movie. And there are some of the panels that's like, that's a picture of Clint Eastwood. If you Google it, you'll find it. Like, you can't tell me that Logan doesn't look like Clint Eastwood at certain parts of this.
I can see that.
Yeah.
He's
I
like
know
a
he looks like a
chunkier-
whole lot of man.
Mm-hmm.
like a thicker. And I don't want. He's not fat, but like a thicker,
He's a
like
the
he's a
comic,
buffer.
Yeah.
the
version.
comic
Yeah.
physique.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because Clint Eastwood, I think, was a very
He's
lithe
tall and
person. Yeah.
He's tall and skinny, but yeah, I mean, definitely lots of Clint Eastwood references in this, which is one of the things I just loved about it.
I loved the dinosaurs.
I did too.
That was a nice little
It was
touch.
a little touch, yeah.
The Magneto brought them from the Savage Lands.
That they exist at all is kind of excellent.
Yeah. Though it was bizarre that Venom took over a dinosaur. I'm just like,
Yeah, that's
why
another-
why?
I
That was more non sequitur than
Yeah.
anything else for me.
I can see that, but then I think they could have done more with it. But all of a sudden, Venom was gone, and they're like, "Where'd he go?" And they're like, "I don't know." And then that was the end of it. You're like, "Okay,
Well,
sure."
World building.
that guy spoke, and that was the end of it.
That's true.
A Black Bolt.
Black Bolt, thank you. Thank you for knowing that.
You're so good.
So let's see. Some of Gina's favorite moments.
Well, I actually didn't put that many favorite moments. I put a lot of things I didn't like.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, overall, do you like this one?
Yes, I did overall, but that's actually makes it easier to nitpick it.
Yeah, because you
Yeah.
enjoyed it regardless of what you nitpick.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, one of your favorite moments was, we've already talked about it a little bit, was that final battle between Logan and the Red Skull.
Yes,
I liked that.
that was great. Using that shield.
Yeah.
The fact that it was like the homage to the superheroes. And that was nice.
Yeah, he uses Captain America's shield to
Decapitate.
decapitate the Red Skull. It's pretty awesome.
Well, and it's iconic because that's his nemesis anyway, was Captain America and Red Skull, and then Captain America and Spirit kind of.
Yeah.
I liked that. That was nice.
Well, and because Red Skull had killed Cap too. Oh, that was so sad.
I know.
And he was like Buffalo Billing his way around the whole museum. Like,
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
so creepy.
That whole thing was so fabulous. So fabulous.
I want that museum, except I don't want it because I've murdered everything. I would just like to have that stuff.
You know, by any means necessary, Megan.
Whatever you have to do to survive, apparently. Bree's like scaring me a little bit. Like, I kind of want to skip closer to Megan. Just this like crazed look
You're
in her
like
eyes.
you're sandwiched in between the ladies with violent streaks right now.
I wish you all could see Bree right now. She's just calmly like playing with her hair and has this like nasty look in her eyes. Like, I would kill you if I had to.
I cackle. I don't know.
It's just so serene, but like, I'm afraid.
Now, that scene sort of reminded me that the female superheroes in Marvel Universe don't really have their iconic stuff. So it was pretty much all guys because the female, they just don't have them.
Right, they don't have like accessories or anything like that. They also didn't have Nemesis. Like, they didn't have a Nemesis that, you know what I mean? There's no like
Yeah.
iconic Nemesis for
Yeah.
Storm, like that you can
Yes.
like pair them up against in the comic. So
That's a good point. I'd never thought of that.
Maybe he had like Sue Storm's invisible jet. You just couldn't see it.
Okay, so
Oh wait, no, that would be Wonder Woman's invisible jet. What would Sue Storm that's invisible? Nothing. She could fly.
I don't remember.
She doesn't need anything.
there's like a
anything.
tornado in a bottle.
Here's her uniform right here. It's invisible.
So that's one of the things that they talk about, though. Like Hawkeye and Logan are discussing the deaths of everybody, and he's like, "We have no idea what happened to the Storms." Like Sue and Reed. Is it Sue and Reed? Yeah,
Sue and
Sue and
Reed.
Reed. They're like, they just disappeared. We have no idea what happened to them.
And
like
Ben.
And Ben, they're totally dead, but they have to be dead.
No idea where they are.
But they have no idea where they are. And that's one of those stories that's like, well, what happened to them?
Yeah. Well, and then they're like, well, but that gives people hope, and that.
Yeah.
And you're just like, ah!
Somebody write that story. I want to read it.
I'm about
Seriously.
it. Yeah.
I want to read it.
The way this
Get
is
on that,
set
ladies.
up, though, I think it's set up where they're like, okay, if we wanted to, we could come
They
back
really
and
could.
tell all these different stories.
They
could
could
tell a
keep
bunch
this
of 'em.
world going. They
Yeah.
built this world, and they could continue with stories in this world.
And it's been a while. I'd like them to circle back to this now. It would be really nice because I thought this is one of the most enjoyable storylines that I've read in a while. And I thought that when it came out, I want more of it.
I want more of it too.
Actually, what I want is the continuation at the end, because at the end, Logan rides off into the sunset
With the Hulk baby.
like a good Western baby. Yeah, like a good Western hero
Jr.
with baby Bruce strapped to his back. I want to see that story. He's going out there. He's going to save the planet. Reminds me a lot of Cable had a whole run where he's like traveling through time with baby Hope Summers strapped to his chest.
Oh, yeah.
That has some of the best covers, like some of my favorite comic book covers ever. I would like to see the Logan version of that story now because you've set me up for it.
You just like that Logan's with this cute, adorable little green
Little green
child.
baby.
Well, you've seen his family. Who knows what that baby's going to look like in a couple years? Yeah.
Oh.
Also, why are they all green?
They're hulked out all the time.
Yeah, that was
Always?
interesting too.
Yeah, I thought
They're
that was a strange
actually
choice.
the children of Banner and She-Hulk.
Yes.
Yeah. So does
But
that
why
mean
are they
that
green all the time? Don't they have a human side?
maybe because they were both hulked out like while they were doing things?
Did she have
The
to stay
hand
hulked
gestures
out
are
throughout
all
and then
the pregnancy?
yeah, she would have had to stay hulked out while she was gestating the children. And
Well,
yeah,
but why would she be hulked out the whole time? Like, I can see her being hulked out while she was birthing the children. But I
Well,
mean, why?
we
Does
don't-
pregnancy really enrage you that much that you're the
We
Hulk the
don't
entire
know
9 months?
What happened?
your
So maybe
your hormones do go crazy when you're pregnant.
We need a mom to weigh in on
Where's
this.
Alice?
Are you hulked out the entire 9 months of your pregnancy? This is a vital question I need answered.
We needed Alice here to weigh in on that.
Yeah, I just don't
I know
see
Alice is
she'd
Jennifer.
probably be very pragmatic.
I don't
about
see
it.
She-Hulk, just going in with that.
See, that's my other question too. Is like, was that consensual? Did she
Yeah.
make that decision with him, or because he'd gone crazy, was that like a non-consensual thing, and they just gloss over it? And I don't know if it's
We don't
because
know.
they hadn't come to a decision about that, or because they didn't want to delve into the potential nastiness that entailed.
Then how did they end up with so many damn
I know.
kids?
That's the thing
my
is
God.
there were so many of them. Like either that was just really horrific and terrible, and I don't even want to think about it, or
Maybe they have
She was-
litters.
maybe we don't know what the Hulk reproductive
littles.
system is like.
Yes, that's
maybe
true.
you give multiple. Maybe multiple birds is just one of the side effects. I don't know.
Maybe she lays eggs. We don't know.
They're like dinosaurs.
Your hillbilly voice is so
That's not my hillbilly voice. That's my Jurassic Park voice. Dinosaurs.
They get stuck in the sack.
All right.
Oh my god, I love you.
I don't even have anything else to say at this point. Like, I'm shutting down.
I'm just so tickled by that. That was perfect. Okay, so let's talk about the art a little bit. Let's talk about the art a little bit. So, Steve McNiven did the pencils for this, and then the primary inker was Dexter Vines. Mark Morales did some of the inks on issue 70. When we finally find out what happened to all of the superheroes, well, all of the
Love
X-Men
that.
at least. And then Jay Leaston, I'm sure I'm butchering your name, I'm sorry, also did some of the inks. And then the color, I love the colors on this.
Color was so good.
Maury Hollowell was a colorist was the primary colorist, and then we got one lady. Woohoo!
Go you!
Christina Strain did colors on issue 67. Justin Ponser did colors on issues 68 and 70. Jason Keith did colors on 68. Paul Mounts did colors on 71 and 72. And Nathan Fairburn did colors on issue 72.
We're missing an issue in there.
Are we?
Yeah, 69 isn't addressed.
Because Maury Hollowell was the only one that did colors on it. He was the primary colorist. So all of these other people that I've just mentioned just kind of pitched in for pages or bits here and there.
Following,
Yep.
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think the inks, all of this stuff just came together so well. I mean, the pencils were just amazing. I mean, just the art on this is just incredible. It's so gritty and very detailed. And in the final issue, I think the inks really stand out. I really love how in the flashback stuff, everything's kind of tinged blue. Mm-hmm. Whereas in the current day stuff, everything's like real red and orangey.
So I've never been a huge fan of graphic novels because of I've always been like overly stimulated sometimes by what I'm looking at, which is why I enjoyed Scott Pilgrim, because it's not quite as it's very
That's
simplistic.
just black and white, isn't it?
There's bits of color,
Oh, okay.
but majority of it is black and white. But I didn't find having that problem in this. Like, I didn't find there too much going on or too much detail. Like, when you get the big, too much of the rippling of the muscles and stuff like that, like, too much of the slashes and the scars and the blood spatter, like, I just can't follow it. I'm not appreciating it as much. But I did not find that problem with this one. I think it was right on that sweet spot where, like, it gave me enough definition, but not so much that I was, like, struggling to comprehend.
And I really do think that that's because they did such a good job establishing their style for this. And I think the colors in particular are really what brings everything together, because it's got that muted color palette. Everything's everything looks real dusty and dirty.
Except the superhero
the superhero stuff, yeah.
Like Spidercar.
Yeah. But
Gina's favorite.
Yes.
But even that stuff, like, I'm looking at the cover of 67, like, even that stuff's really muted.
On the actual comic pages, though, like, especially the Spidercar,
Yeah.
it's super bright.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Here, look at...
Like, it stands out. Like,
Yeah.
what you need to look at, they made sure it stands
You're
out.
right.
And I really appreciated
Yeah.
that. Because then
And,
if I
like,
want to look at it
The
deeper...
Captain America uniform.
You're right. It is real blue. You're absolutely right about that. Oh,
If I want to look in more detail, I can look in more detail. But the things that are really important, they stand out. And they draw my attention without me having to, like, work too hard at it.
yeah.
Let's see,
I don't
if
want to
you-
work really hard at it.
If you go to the page where they're in Las Vegas, when they have superhero stuff, like, it's still very primary colors.
Mm-hmm.
When
They
they're-
use primary bright colors.
When they're falling down that
Yeah, when
crevice,
they're falling down the mauloid hole.
it's like the red of that Jeep just stands out
Yeah,
against
you're right. That didn't
against
really
the
stand out
background.
to me before, but you
They
guys are totally
understood
really
Spidercar is awesome.
Again, we're just reestablishing this.
stealing the show. Spidercar. I love how that. Oh yeah, here's a great one with the colors standing out. I love. You guys can totally see this listening at home. All these. It's the reds in particular too that really. Even the blood is muted in comparison to the colors of the uniforms, which
Right.
is really kind of cool.
So what you want to see is what you've seen. You
Yeah.
don't have to fight your way through all the
Yes.
miscellaneous. And there's nothing worse than watching a bunch of rubble fall and being
Yeah.
like, "Where is the thing I'm worried about here? Oh, there it is. Same color as everything else, buried in the background. Great, thanks for that. Well done."
Speaking of blood,
Oh God,
there's a lot of it. In
Yes.
this. Real bloody run of comics here. It's Wolverine though. I mean, I think a lot of the Wolverine ones tend to get really.
This walk a fine
violent,
line for
but-
blood with me. Oh,
Really?
I think I don't mind blood, but I think it got gorier as it went on. So at least they didn't
Yeah.
jump in with like utter gore and like they're like slap you in the face with it. But I think if there'd been much more, I wouldn't have enjoyed it.
Well, and the last issue is just almost like
Just pure
it's
gore.
just pure gore for pages and pages and pages.
But I almost expect that because it's the climax, and I
Yeah.
expect I was worked up to it. It wasn't just unnecessarily gory the whole time.
So, just as an aside, since I'm reading all the old like issues, I am just so tickled by all the ads that are in here. Like, there's one for the Sarah Connor Chronicles and for the new season of Fringe. Like,
Who's on the back cover? There's
I
some
was
boy
laughing.
band doing a milk commercial on the back cover.
Yeah, it's a milk. Who is? Do you know who that is? Dirty Little Secret. Who sang Dirty Little Secret?
All
All
American Rejects.
I'll give you my dirty. That's not how the song goes.
I'll make
You're
you
close.
my
I'll make you
friend.
my dirty little secret.
But that's what makes the single issues.
That's
of
why they're
any
so much
series
fun.
So much fun
Yeah.
to go and read. And when they have letter pages, oh, I love letter pages.
Don't do drugs, guys. It's just like a slug snorting up salt.
That one, I want you to scan in, and I want that one to be part of
Let's
the post.
do it. We'll post it online for you guys. These are just, we might have to pick some of our favorites. There's ads for the Wolverine X-Men Origin Wolverine movie.
Oh my god,
That sounds like it's going to be good.
I
oh
think
my god,
it
it
will
was
be.
fabulous.
And for the accompanying video game. Oh, check the new Xbox experience. We're talking
Xbox
about
Live.
Xbox.
Oh my gosh, you
Yeah.
can stream Netflix on it. That's incredible.
For the first time ever.
I don't know where my life would be without that right now.
Spider-Man Web of Shadows, the video game.
So
Pre-order it. Anyway.
So
let's
Megan
talk
has
about-
all of the original issued comic books individually as the series came out. Gina has the trade collection in hardback. Bri has the trade collection in paperback.
Because I'm cheap.
And I have the Kindle edition because I'm even cheaper than Bri.
I would have gotten it, but I can't read it that small on my phone.
So, yeah, it was hard.
So I have a question for you about the Kindle edition. You just downloaded the Kindle edition. Does Kindle have that the Marvel app on it?
Question mark?
Like the comic reading apps will take you from panel to panel and kind
'Cause
of
those
the
are
order
good.
they were
Yeah.
meant
Yeah.
to be
So
read.
if you double click on a panel, you can just skim through and it'll take you through.
That's different. So
read like that.
yeah,
Oh, that's nice.
it's kind of the same. You might want to look into that because if we're going to do more comics, I actually did really enjoy the comic apps that are available. I think DC has one.
I use
Marvel has,
Comixology.
yeah, Comixology is one of them. And they're really good because the ones that are not tablet enhanced, they do kind of like what you're talking about, where it highlights a panel, but it zooms in on the panel, and then it does kind of camera worky stuff where it pans to the next panel, and then you'll see it slide across to the next panel. It's actually pretty nice. It'd probably be more enjoyable than what you experienced.
I think I would just buy it. I just ran out of time, and I think I would just like to have it in paper form. It was even on the tablet, even on the computer when they zoomed in, it was still, there were times it was hard to read, and there was times where it was hard to decipher some of like the really minute details. So I don't know that I would buy it electronically again. It's maybe not my thing, especially when I'm trying to read it with my glasses and I've got like the glare of both, and I'm like, this is fabulous. I'm so glad I can see Wolverine.
Look at the detail on the Venom T-Rex. That's just
Fabulous.
crazy.
I liked that.
When
the venom got blown off of
yeah.
that T-Rex.
That was a throwaway bit, but the art on that, just incredible.
Which
They
issue
should
was that
totally-
in?
That's issue 71, right in the middle, right before they meet
They
Emma.
should make an action figure of that.
Oh, I would totally buy
That would be an
that.
awesome action figure.
That'd be the coolest T-Rex to have on your desk ever. Ever, ever. I love T-Rexes.
What I did like about the Kindle edition, though, is it did just take all the comic books and put them together. So I got all the covers. I got to see all the different covers for all the art, the different volumes and issues, and like I got to read all the. I don't remember what you referred to it as earlier. The synopsis at the beginning of each.
Yeah, it's a little synopsis.
Yeah, I got to have all that,
recap.
and that was nice because I mean, just because I don't have the paper copy, I still got to see all the really neat cover art, which was I really enjoyed.
Well, it doesn't have the synopsis. It does the trade does have the covers.
At least you have the
that's nice.
covers.
Yeah, and also it has the alternate covers at the back,
Oh, that's nice.
the variant.
Oh yeah, we should talk about those because there's a couple in there that I really like. You know, there's this panel with like someone in a Doom mask in the middle of issue 71 that they like. That's like first and last time you ever see that. Like
I
they
just
never follow up with that.
assumed maybe Emma Frost married Doom,
Yeah,
and that's why they're all alive.
Yeah, that's
and he
kinda
just
where I
like
went with that too.
he doesn't mess with what she's gonna do, and
she
she
doesn't
doesn't
mess
mess with
with
what
him.
he's gonna do.
Oh.
And that this was maybe crossing the line. Like she took a risk to bring them to her. Like she made a sacrifice to do that, or she pushed the bucket, or she pushed the.
She pushed the
fold.
boundaries.
Yeah, she pushed
Yeah.
it a little bit with him, and he's kind of like upset about it. But I think you're right. I think that's who she married to survive.
Okay, that
I
makes
didn't even
sense.
make that connection. You guys are so smart.
I was actually assuming that she went with Black Bolt because he's the king of the Inhumans.
Oh,
So
Yeah, and I don't know much about Black
I
Bolt
kind of
either.
saw him more as like
He was
she
subservient.
saved him, yeah, and he became like loyal to her.
Yeah, that's
But I mean, that's what I first thought. But what you say about Doom, that makes much more sense.
Hey,
Yeah, that's kind of where I went to, Bri.
maybe Emma's starting her own harem. We don't know.
Is she gonna have like ladies
She could have
and
3 or 4 husbands.
dancers? I don't know.
Maybe. She
Good-
very
good
well
for her.
could.
Another
It's
Clint
the
Eastwood
apocalypse.
reference.
She can
Paint
look
your
like,
wagon.
She can look like whatever she wants. So
I love
mean,
Paint Your Wagon.
They don't even know they exist.
They call the wind Mariah.
I always think of the Simpsons version of Paint Your Wagon. Gonna paint your wagon. Gonna paint it fine. That was my dad's. My dad actually suffered through that whole movie. He hates musicals, but he has seen that whole thing because it's got Clint Eastwood in it. And it's the only reason why he's ever watched that movie.
My dad loves musicals and he loves Westerns. So I saw Paint Your
That's
Wagon
just
a
the
lot.
perfect storm.
And I think my first crush was the guy who sang They Call the Wind
They call the
Mariah.
wind Mariah. That's such a great song. So Wolverine gets home. So after killing the Red Skull with Captain America's
you
shield.
We skipped a big major plot point here, which is the cargo they were taking
yes.
to New Babylon. They drop it off, and apparently it's some sort of like secret revolution.
It's super serum.
Yeah, it's
It's
super
a whole
serum.
suitcase full of super serum.
Right, that's trying to make this revolution to take down these like
All the bad
established
guys.
evil baddies.
Yeah.
And then the person or the buyer for this cargo
Who has Hitler's mustache?
Yeah, he had
Yeah,
a
oh my
Hitler's
God.
dead
Giveaway.
giveaway.
totally shot and killed Hawkeye.
Poor Hawkeye.
Well, actually, he beat the shit out of Hawkeye,
It was so sad.
and it was kind of shocking. I mean,
It happened so fast, too.
it did. It was just kind of done and over, and then that's when they took Wolverine's body with all the other bodies to Red Skull, who then got what he deserved.
Yes.
And then
So he's
he
got
left.
this whole museum of basically all of the fallen Avengers uniforms and their key pieces and Beast's head. Beast's
And poor
stuffed head
Hawkeye.
right here.
I didn't see that.
I just
oh
now
my
noticed
God.
that. That's so sad because Beast is one of my favorites.
Aw,
Poor
hey.
Hawkeye had
I
like an
know.
inferiority complex about the fact that they took out all the Avengers except
Except
him.
for
Except for
him.
him, yeah.
He's like, they didn't
Yeah.
even care about me.
Nobody even wanted to kill me.
So it just so happens that he's got Tony Stark's armor there. So
got
Wolverine
everyone's armor
dons the armor and flies home using Tony Stark's armor.
I just imagined, what's his name that does his voice of Jarvis?
Paul Bettany.
Paul Bettany. I just imagined Paul. I knew it was Paul, but I couldn't remember the last name. Paul Bettany's voice as he's flying back. He's like, "Sir, you're almost out of power. Keep going."
I know. Now that Paul Bettany like has that cornered in my brain now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he is Jarvis.
Anytime Tony Stark's suits are talking, it's
It's
Paul
Paul
Bettany. Who we were talking about on our First Time Film Club podcast because
He's
he's in A
fabulous.
Knight's Tale and you see his naked butt a lot in that movie and it's
Yes,
pretty
you
awesome.
do.
I'm okay with that.
The bit of the story that we've only touched on but we haven't like gotten into we haven't gotten into completely. Pause. What are you laughing at?
I'm sorry. The scene right when he puts on all of the Iron Man outfit.
He's
right when
way too broad for it.
Well, when they come to the door, like blast through the door, and they say something that I can't read for right now, but then someone says, "Oh no," and he goes, "Oh yeah." Oh yeah. And I'm like, "Oh my God, he's a Kool-Aid man."
Yeah. Mr. President, what's going on? Are you okay, sir? And then they see Wolverine in Tony Stark's armor, and they're like, oh, no.
And he's like, "Oh yeah."
Yeah. And then he blows away the whole side of the building.
And he's way too big for Tony Stark's armor.
I know, that's the best part. He can't wear, like, the piece that goes over his
Midsection.
midsection. Yeah, he can't wear the stomach piece. He can wear the chest piece, and he
He's
can wear the
He's
boots.
like straining the chest piece
know.
to its last bit of
Okay,
metal.
sorry. I saw that right when we ended that conversation and lost it a little
That's
bit.
amazing.
All right.
Okay, so the other bit of the story that we haven't touched on is that very final, we've touched on it, but we haven't talked about it in depth, is that final issue, the final showdown between Logan and Bruce Banner. I love that fight because it starts out with just him and Banner, and then Banner goes all Hulk.
And then it's him and
I'll
the
tell
Hulk.
you what I love. I love that he sees his family dead, and then we get a two-page
Two-page
spread.
spread.
Snicked.
That's one of the best two-page spreads I've ever seen. And it's just text, red text on a black
And
background.
you know it's on.
It's so hardcore. That is such a great. And then the next 2-page, and then the next. It's not a 2-page. It's a 1-page. The next image is just him popping his claws for the first time in 50 years.
Pop my
Oh,
claws.
such a powerful.
Okay, Okay, so normally our show notes include some form of like soundtrack or score discussion, and the whole time I'm like, I wish this had a soundtrack to it, and Bri is making this a reality, and that's why we love Bri. Because I'm like, who would do the soundtrack for this? Oh, that's right, it would be Bri.
Just turn on the soundtrack for Unforgiven. I'm pretty sure it'll work.
Now, we're talking about he hasn't popped his claws in 50 years, but we don't really go into why. We haven't gone into
Oh,
why.
that's
So
true.
bad.
You're right. We haven't talked about that.
You want to
Yeah,
tell us
Gina,
what happened?
why don't you take the lead?
Yeah, they actually sort of don't go into it. You see him fighting villains in various pages, but it's not until closer to the end where you find out that Mysterio, is that who it was?
Yes.
Mysterio actually tricked him into killing all the X-Men.
And my question there is, where was Professor X and where was Jean?
And where was Emma?
Jean was dead on the ground. You did see Jean dead on the ground.
He must
But
have killed her real fast.
He must have killed her immediately, because wouldn't she be able to be like, wait, no, mind powers?
You would have. You would think so, right?
Right. Or he could have just been so enraged, though, that I mean, there is a scientific thing behind the fact that when you get enraged or you get that adrenaline going, you can't comprehend anything else. I mean, that's why you get people who do things in fits of rage, because nothing will snap them out of it. And you could assume maybe not even Jean or Professor X.
Well, and I don't know very much about Mysterio. Like, I don't know how powerful he is. I think this is
Spider-Man.
Is he? This is the only thing I don't read very much Spider-Man, so this is the first thing I've ever read where he's like a villain.
Yeah, I was like, why wasn't Jean more powerful than him?
Well,
Yeah.
maybe
Why
she
wasn't
was
Professor
dead
X?
at the
Yeah,
time.
she could have been dead already.
Yeah, I tend to think because Red Skull had united all of the villains, they must have planned that out really, really well.
They probably killed her immediately.
Or incapacitated her in some fashion.
Her and the
and
professor.
they probably got the professor somewhere else.
But
I
they
don't know.
But
Or
they
he was
don't go
already
into
dead.
that, and that is a huge plot hole. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So I know that, Bri, you said you saw that coming, but I totally didn't.
I didn't either. The first time I read
I did. He was just like, I won't pop my claws anymore. I'm not that person. I'm like, oh, he killed all his friends, didn't he?
See, I didn't even go there. See, I believe in such the inner goodness of Wolverine. I did not go there.
I was just like, he killed all the X-Men. None of them are here. Like, no, he's all alone. How would he be the only one who survives? He must have killed them.
But
Yeah,
see,
I didn't even think about
my
that.
experience with Wolverine is like he's a lone wolf and he just leaves. He does what he thinks he's dangerous, so he just leaves. So
Yeah.
for me, my thoughts were just, for some reason, he just left, thinking it was safer for them. And then they died fighting a battle that he wasn't in, and there was like this utter guilt about that.
But
and that's
I
kinda
thought
what
that if that was the case, then he would commit himself to finding the people who fucked them up and killing them.
Yeah,
I agree.
That's a good point.
If that
That's
would
true.
have happened, I think that would have. And you know how they were hinting that they beat him so bad that they broke him. I'm like, I can't believe that.
I know, because
Yeah.
he's like he's had so much done to him. Like,
Yeah.
he's been down to his skeleton before and come back from that. Like,
Yeah, but
You-
this is
yeah.
believable.
Yeah, I totally
I
agree.
totally agree. This and they reveal all of this in issue 70, and there's this fantastic 2-page spread on page 15 and 16 that was inked by Mark Morales and colored by Justin Ponser, where you finally see like all of the carnage of all of the X-Men just totally eviscerated by Wolverine, and it's
So messed
so
up.
gross. Like, Beast is like impaled. Beast is impaled on this giant thing, and his legs are missing. And Scott's got like half of his head gone. Like, it is
It's brutal.
brutal.
I
Yeah.
don't see Gina in here at all.
I thought
Yeah,
she
you
was. I thought she was the woman on top of the first time you see the pile of them. I'm trying to find the.
This one?
Yeah, on my version
That's-
that looked like Jean.
Mm-hmm.
That's Psylocke.
Yeah.
Yes,
you can
that
tell
is,
because
if
her
you-
bathing
if you
suit comes
follow
up
down.
really high.
Yeah.
and on the sides.
She's got that sash on. I
Remember,
could
I'm
see
looking
that,
at a
though.
picture
Yeah.
that's like this big.
'Cause she's
Yeah.
got, she's got the 2 stripes on her arm. That's how
I
can
like
tell
how
her.
they did the reveal though. Like they didn't
Yeah, I
just
did
tell
too.
you it. Like he had this compassion moment with Hawkeye after he realized his daughter is like not who he thought his daughter was going to be. And you know he's trying to sympathize with him, and he's trying to like make that connection back with his friend that he hasn't seen in so long, that like that's the moment he's like finally like, okay, like I know you're down in the dumps too, so let me tell you why I'm down in the dumps and we can be down in the dumps together. I thought that moment, the way they revealed that too, it wasn't so much just like a, oh, by the way, I'm going to tell you the story that I've been teasing you about the whole half of the storyline yet.
Well, and right up until like on page 15, 16 is the first time you actually see who he's been fighting. Like all the way up until then, he's been telling you the story, and he's fighting like Doc Ock and basically
everybody,
every villain ever is in here. I'm trying to find a page so I can start calling out names. There's Doc Ock, the Green Goblin, the Blob, Mysterio, and what's her name with the claw fingers?
I don't know.
Lady Deathstrike.
Okay.
Lady Deathstrike and Sabretooth and like
Cyberman.
Yeah. I mean, like
The
all
Blob.
of the worst Marvel villains are in here. He like totally guts. Oh yeah, look, there's Bullseye, the original.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, and what's interesting about that too is
But that's actually Jubilee.
Yes.
yeah. But you're watching this happen, and he's yelling to all the kids in the school, like, get out. So now, once they reveal what happened, now you're hearing that all the students are watching him slaughter all of their, like, teachers and, like, allies and stuff. And so now they don't know that his head's been messed with. It's just, you have to go back and be like, wait, whoa, all those kids are trying to stop him.
Or they
He's
might have
not.
been fake. Because
It's
at one point
possible.
they say nobody knows where they are. What do we do,
He
Wolverine?
could have just
It's true.
Or
So-
they could have manipulated the kids.
Yeah.
Too, as well, yeah.
Anything could happen to those kids.
But yeah, Jubilee, if clearly during this time, Kitty Pryde was probably, green roomed. She's my favorite character, by the way, so I had to bring her up at some point during. I've been waiting.
Yeah, I'm disappointed that there's no Rogue in this 2-page panel. Like they managed to squeeze in my man Gambit, but Rogue's not in there.
Because
Rogue and Kitty
would have
are like
laid
two of the
hands on
most
him.
important characters in Wolverine's life, and they're not even there.
Yeah.
Come on, guys. But yeah, I love how after he leaves, he's talking about how he's just wandering in the forest forever, and like all the animals are just scared of him because he's so messed up from what happened. That's great.
I don't think I expected to be as like surprised by the story arcs in this as I was, like the Ashley turning evil against her dad, and like Wolverine having killed all of the X-Men, and them killing Hawkeye for Red Skull, and then and then him coming back. But then at the point where he killed Red Skull and he started heading home, I'm like, oh, his family's dead, so I don't know why he's going. Like somehow I put that one together.
I did see that one coming.
I saw that one coming, and I was like, well, that sucks. And then from there, of course, the obvious thing is like now he's gonna go and like inflict his revenge on everyone. So all the rest of the deaths I saw coming, but I think for majority of the story, I was like, oh my god, this is awesome. I'm so surprised.
It is a great story. Yeah.
Yes.
And then, of course, that final battle is just so gross. So the final battle, I love that Banner goes all Hulk out on him, and then he eats him.
And then what an idiot.
I know, what an idiot. The panel where he's eating him, though, he's like biting him in half, and it's
like
such
on
a
the
violent
side.
panel.
Yeah.
He's just biting through him on the side. It's so gross. And then, of course, like 4 hours later, Wolverine comes busting through.
Okay, and so if they'd ended the comic with him being eaten, I would have believed it. Because
yeah.
everybody else died too, so I was like, well, this is kind of like the end of the superheroes, and he's like the only one left.
Kill him.
I know. But again, the Hulks may make eggs. We don't know. We don't know how they work.
We're back to that.
So I mean, him being eaten, I was kind of like, at first I was taken aback, but I was like, oh, but I mean, I guess maybe the whole point of the storyline is to kill off any other superhero left at all, and like maybe he's the last one. And then when it continued on, I was like, oh no, never mind, we're not done.
They really could have gone that route.
Sit back and read. But
And
then
the
it would have
Hulk
ended it.
is hard to kill.
Yeah.
Just like
Yeah.
Wolverine is.
Yeah.
So that's why I guess they had to have him eat him.
Those two have been going at it for
He's
decades.
naked.
Yeah. Like, I'm such a prude, but I'm like, Wolverine's naked busting out of there.
Yeah, but
Wolverine butt.
it also would have killed if they had him actually eat, and that would have been the end of him. That would have killed the whole like potential for another storyline in this world that involved him. And we know he comes in every storyline ever, always.
But they're talking about killing him for good this summer.
Yeah, I'll
He's really going to be killed for realsies this time.
And then we'll reincarnate him in another universe where he still exists. And
but wait, his clone is still here.
Oh my God, that wasn't the real Wolverine.
Final thoughts. Hold on, let me look at the notes.
Yeah. And the last thoughts on the last battle thing.
Yeah.
Couple things that were weird to me. One, why did he stay as the Hulk? Because it's like a good like half a day goes by.
Because he's got a Wolverine in his stomach.
Because he's got that refractory period. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of weird because like he's regular Banner for most of it, and then all of a sudden he becomes the Hulk, but then he's still the Hulk 12 hours later. So it's like, why is he just not always the Hulk?
I do love the design of the Hulk in this. He looks
like a
awesome.
fat old man.
Yes, I love it. He's gigantic.
He's just huge.
He's super wrinkly, and he's got this giant stomach.
Kind of furry, unlike when you normally see him where he's like painted.
Yeah, I love that he's furry.
He's like an animal versus like a big man.
I guess I like the Hulk. Maybe not the Hulks in this, but I like the Hulk in this.
Okay.
Yeah. I love that he eats Wolverine. I don't know why I like that so much, but I do. I just love that he eats it.
Because his first thought is like, oh, I can't beat you, so I'm going to eat you.
I'm going to eat you. Yeah.
I think they just eat people, and he was just hungry.
Yeah, they were cannibals, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you really cannibalize people who are not of the same genetics as
fucking
you?
Hillbillies, I swear to God.
These hillbilly Hulks who are... not
cannibals.
Quite human. Could they be cannibals if they're not
That's
human?
a good point. Are they? Yeah. Are they technically cannibals?
Well, a cannibal is someone who eats one of their own kind.
So, yeah, I guess they're not cannibals. They're man-eaters.
Yeah, they're people eaters.
Just like us.
She's a man eater.
That's the theme for the main daughter of the Hulk.
And of
man
course,
eater.
And of course, my mind goes to Snake Eater.
Ugh. Oh.
My husband plays a lot of Metal Gear. Snake Eater. I love that. It's one of the greatest video game intros ever.
This is falling apart very quickly. Poor Gina's like, what did I get myself into?
I have to wake up at 4 a.m., so.
Okay, so let's, well, are there any final thoughts on Old Man Logan Wolverine, besides the fact that it's totally awesome and everybody should go out and read it?
It's really good, despite some of some issues with... I hate using that. The issues with...
The issues. Some plot holes in the issues.
Yeah, and the fact that there could have been more female characters and more representation.
Because it totally failed the Bechdel test.
Yes.
Like 100% failed
My favorite part about that is that Logan's wife and his daughter are like in the same place. They're in panels together, and they never talk to each other.
Yeah.
But she does talk about
She talks
the
about
daughter,
her, but not to
her.
Oh, come on, guys. So close. So close. 2 out of 3.
But at the same time, it's a perpetuating problem. We don't have a lot of female superheroes, and we don't have a lot of female superheroes interacting. So if you're going 50 years in the future, you won't have many left to interact.
Especially not when they're all dead.
Right.
Killed by Wolverine.
So, and your best chance was the X-Men, and he killed them all.
Yeah.
So, I mean, in that case, I didn't really expect it to pass.
Yeah,
But
I didn't either.
I would rather it fail in this way than fail in the way of like a bunch of girls are sitting down like, oh my God, he's so dreamy, Wolverine.
Yeah, I would rather them just not converse than spend their whole time talking about boys.
Exactly.
They passed the Hawkeye test, though.
They do pass the Hawkeye initiative test. They sure do.
I did. I really enjoyed this. I didn't think I would. I honestly thought I'd be like, oh, that was okay, guys. And
Isn't it good?
I was like, okay, I really liked it, guys.
So, Bri and Andrea, if there was a follow-up to this, would you read it?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And we'd do it on Educating Geeks. Thanks for listening today. If you enjoy listening to Educating Geeks, make sure that you subscribe to us on Stitcher or iTunes. Subscribing gets you immediate access to our new episodes as soon as they're posted. And while you're there, why not give us a rating or a review? We'd really love to hear your feedback about the show. And we wanted to give a shout out to some of our listeners. We kind of get some data about where you guys are listening from through SoundCloud, and we've noticed that there are a lot of you in Vernon, Virginia, and also a lot of you out in Germany. So hello, everybody in Herndon, Virginia, and guten Tag to everybody listening in Germany. Actually, yeah, everyone listening in Deutschland. And actually, if you're in the Rhineland-Pfalz area, I used to live there, so...
That's our fan base is.
I know. I hope you guys are listening because of me, but I'm not going to hold my breath. So anyway, if you're listening in Herndon or in Deutschland or anywhere else, we'd love to hear from you. Just leave us a comment or send us an email at mothership@educatinggeeks.com. We'd really love to hear from you guys. If you check out educatinggeeks.com over the next week, we're going to have even more Old Man Logan content for you. Next Wednesday, we're going to post geek supplies so that you can show off your Wolverine pride. And then next Friday, we'll have an Educating Geeks drinking game just for Old Man Logan. So thanks again for joining us today. This has been Megan,
Andrea,
Bri,
And Gina.
and don't forget to visit us at educatinggeeks.com, or you can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, and Google+. We hope you'll join us for our next episode when we'll be educating Alice on the 3rd season of the hit Fox show Fringe. So until next time, make sure to go out there and pop some claws, bub.